Whew, thank God I did that. Who knows what would happen if I didn't. But you see, now I got a problem. I want to play a Nintendo launch title, but I want it to have nothing to do with sports, be in HD, be on a console that has the word Wii in it, and be able to play it with an ugly controller that makes me scream every time I look at it. I don't have to tell you why the Wii U was a failure, or even that it was at this point. It's such common knowledge that they teach it in history class nowadays. The Wii U, however, is something of a guilty pleasure of mine. I really like the concept, and the execution was done far better than I would have ever expected, but this marketing is just awful. This was a sad age of Nintendo because it felt like they gave up for a couple of years. But what if I told you that they did actually try during the Wii U's launch? Oh, no way. Commercials aside, the Wii U did actually have some great games that felt worthwhile during its first year. You got games like Assassin's Creed 3, Batman Arkham City Armored Edition, Scribblenauts Unlimited, Sing Party. Okay, I take it all back. But Nintendo knew that if they wanted to repeat success that they had with the Wii, not only did they have to fuck up the name, but they had to release a pack-in title that was just as good, if not better, than Wii Sports that was just as accessible as Wii Sports. Yeah, I don't know if we got that. I almost never hear anyone talk about this game, and, well, it did come out, it exists, but you never really hear anyone sink their teeth into it. But that's why they made me in a lab. They could have made anything else, but instead they made this, and I still question that. Nintendo Land was a pack-in title for the Wii U, but not the standard edition, no. It was in the deluxe edition, which was $350. Yeah, no wonder why nobody wanted this thing. I've seen kidneys cheaper than that. I feel like if it had the proper chance, Nintendo Land could have been a new Wii Sports, but the problem is that Nintendo never showed off this game in any way. I don't remember any commercials for this game. Now, for the Wii, when they showed that off, the console was also shown off with Wii Sports, showing what you could expect with the console. With the Wii U, we were seeing games that didn't exist yet and wouldn't exist for a while, if at all. Well, I have it now, so might as well endure this. The controller, not the game. I love when the Wii U did this, seamlessly transitioning from loading screen to in the game. When you first open up the game, you have to go through a tutorial, which already tells me that this won't be so self-explanatory. We tap this box and we are introduced to Monita.
I'm in love.
Monita here is our park guide, and this is where we get to learn the whole gimmick of Nintendo Land. Army is experiencing a Nintendo theme park with Nintendo theme attractions, and I gotta say, if this were a real theme park, it would get shut down so fast. Look at all this shit flying around. You'd think this would fly, Nintendo? I got a lawsuit just waiting to be signed right now. Now, I wish the tutorial wasn't here, but I do understand why it is here. The park is kind of your hub, and exploring it involves you moving around the gamepad to move the camera. It's not as self-explanatory as just waggling a Wii remote. I like how on the TV the frame rotates, but I feel like it's annoying for anyone watching this, as the person who's exploring the hub is most likely looking down at the gamepad. We open a big box and get introduced to the central command, where we get to see the attractions we can enter. Now this is where things get interesting! You can walk over to each attraction and enter them as if you were actually at a park, or you can click on this card icon on the gamepad to get more of a menu-style selection if you're a simpleton. You can win coins in the minigames and win prizes by playing f***ing Plinko! Only bad bitches play Plinko, according to my mom. The more prizes you win, the more the hub gets decorated up. It's really fun. The organization is pretty good too. In the card menu, it's separated by the amount of players needed, and in the park, it's alternating between multiplayer and single-player games. I'm gonna go in order with these games because I'm just that crazy kind of dude. You don't know what I'm gonna do next. Yoshi's Fruit Cart. Honestly, a simple game that gets you to think. You have to draw a line to guide Yoshi into eating all the fruit. You may think it's simple, but little do you know that the gamepad doesn't show you where the fruit are. You have to use pattern recognition just to see where the fruit are, and I love this. It gets you to really think about where to draw the line and how long it should be, because Yoshi has stamina and won't last too long. Octopus Dance is Nintendo's official response to Just Dance, and well, it's not great. Use the stick to match the movement of the arms. You can also turn the gamepad or flick it up to do some wacky moves. This one is not so great because sometimes the movement just won't be registered and I'll lose a life. If you miss just one move, that's a life loss, so it's kinda hard to really get through this one without exploding in anger. What the fuck? Donkey Kong Crash Course. It feels like a toy Nintendo would release back in the day where they did that. It's all physics-based. You have to turn the gamepad to move, and if you turn too fast, you might break your spine. It's just like my morning stretches. I will say I never beat this mode because of its difficulty, but it's not unfair, it's more of just hard to manage. Takamuras Ninja Castle. Remember that throwaway Ninja Star throwing demo in the release trailer for the Wii U? Yeah, well, here it is. Yeah, let's go, baby! It's about fucking time! What? I mean, it's fine. You hold the Wii U gamepad vertically and swipe to throw ninjas. You gotta defeat the ninjas and try to defeat them all before the stage ends. It reminds me of one of those on-rail shooters at theme parks where you gotta try to get the high score, but unlike those, this one is just kind of mediocre. I don't know. Aiming with the gamepad like this is like trying to score a basketball shot with a bowling ball. It's not right and it's unnecessary. Whenever I swipe to shoot, my aim gets messed up because I'm touching the thing that has sensitive aiming. Captain Falcon's Twister Race. What do you mean you want a new F-Zero game? This one right here. They actually did it, guys! They did it! It's a new F-Zero game! This one seems cool at first. It just seems like a race to get to the end. With tight turns, hazards, and a sense of speed, you would think that this would be a great thing, but these controls are awkward. You have to hold the gamepad vertically again and turn it to turn the vehicle. The problem is that holding the gamepad like this doesn't feel natural. It wasn't meant to be held like this, and turning this thing feels awkward. And while the TV display looks cooler, it's easier to dodge and hit sharp turns while looking at the gamepad. Overall, it's not bad, I just have a hard time going back to this one. However, when it comes to gameplay between the gamepad and the TV, games usually either have a hit or a miss. Nintendo Land shows both examples of it hitting and missing though. The last single-player game, however, shows one of the fewer hits. The last strictly single-player game is Balloon Trip Breeze, and this is so good. You're using the touchscreen to control the breeze to motivate the movement of your Mii. You gotta try to pop all the balloons. The more you pop, the more points you get, and you can pop them on the touchscreen if you miss it. The view between the gamepad and the TV really does make sense in this one. The gamepad has a zoomed-in camera, while the TV is more spread out, meaning you can use the gamepad to get around tiny corners, and while looking at the TV, you can get your boundaries more straight. Well, that was all the single-player games, but don't worry, there is more. The only problem is that these other games usually are better or require more people, and if you haven't noticed, I don't really have many other friends. I'll be right back.
Honestly, I'll do it if you don't pay me in White Castle.
Deal.
You know what's better than White Castle?
Literally anything else.
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda Battle Quest. This has to be one of my favorite games here because both options of playing are very fun and well balanced. On the gamepad, you shoot arrows and aim with the gyro controls, and this is where I learned how good gyro aiming can be for ranged weapons. If you play with the Wiimote, you're swinging your sword, and this feels so good. It's like how Skyward Sword should have been. You gotta work together to get through the course and gain a piece of the Triforce. You share hearts with one another and can gain them by killing chickens.
It's so f***ed up, I'd never kill an animal for my own benefit.
You're eating a burger! Overall, this one is very fun, and it goes on for a while, so it's sure to last long. Pikmin Adventures. The person on the gamepad plays as Captain Olimar, and anyone with a waggle stick plays as a Pikmin. It feels like a little Pikmin game, and the controls are similar to Pikmin 3. Playing as the Pikmin on the TV is also kinda cool because you get to take matters into your own hand, get physical with the enemies, and show them who's boss. You can collect nectar to level up and get stronger, and at the end you fight a boss. I like this one. It's cute and captures Pikmin faithfully. The versus mode, however, is a complete mess. Can you tell what's happening here? Didn't think so. Metroid Blast. This one is really cool, and it has 3 modes. They can make 3 mini-games for Metroid, but they can't actually make a new game.
You really dated yourself with that line there.
How was I supposed to know? Assault Mission is just killing a bunch of robots, and here it's where we learn that these controls are awful. What is with Nintendo making 3D Metroids control like a bag of depressed bees who can't make honey? In other words, it's the opposite of sweet. If you're on the ground, you have to hold A to look around and B to shoot. You won't be able to control the camera unless you hold down A. The ship control's fine though. It kinda reminds me of an RC car, except I'm controlling it with this hunk of plastic.
I think you're being dramatic. The Wii U gamepad's fine.
You eat White Castle. I can't trust your opinion.
You have a fair point.
Surface, air combat, and ground battle are basically the same thing, where you fight your friends instead of fighting robots. Now here is where we finally get to what I think are the best games of Nintendo Land. In other words, these were the games that I played the most with my cousins and family. Mario Chase. The people who look at the TV have to find and catch Mario who runs around on the gamepad. It's here where I'll introduce the face cam. A lot of the mini games have this, and it uses the Wii U's gamepad's camera to show the player's face.
Wait, there's a camera on that thing?
Yeah.
Dude, this thing's like a brand new iPad.
The iPad had multi-touch. This needs a stylus.
Oh my god, that's fucking amazing! It has a stylus,
Don't
and you can draw on it. It's
look,
like a
look, look,
tablet.
iPad.
It's like a little kid would use it.
I like this feature, but also it's the most unnecessary thing about Nintendo Land. Also, what the f*** is this screen? Why does the gamepad need to show a map when I play? I don't need to use this. I don't need to know where the toads are. I just need to know where I am. But even so, why is the game view so small? This doesn't make sense. It's like looking in the mirror and expecting to grow a full mustache out of nowhere. It's not gonna happen!
I can dream, damn it!
Luigi's Ghost Mansion. This one has to be my favorite game to play when I have 5 people in the room.
So where are the other 2 people then?
People didn't really want White Castle.
More for me, baby!
That's not a good thing! The ghost is on the gamepad, and you have to catch the other players. Meanwhile, on the TV, you won't see the ghost unless it's in certain conditions. If you shine your light on the ghost, you will deplete its life, but be careful because your light can run out of juice very quickly. The way you know that the ghost is around is by how much the Wiimote is vibrating, and I love this. It has an element of horror to it, and if given more time, it could have been a bigger multiplayer in a real Luigi's Mansion game. But alas, who cares about the multiplayer in a Luigi's Mansion game? This one also has unlockable stages, and they suck. Like, what is this? Animal Crossing Sweet Day. This one doesn't really do it for me. The gamepad controls suck. You play as these 2 cop dogs. Paw Patrol got nothing on these fuckers. You control each one by using the 2 sticks. One controls each of them, and my brain can't wrap my head around this. My fingers want to move in the same direction, but you really shouldn't for this game. You have to stop the animals from collecting all the candy. The more candy they collect, the slower they get, but they can drop their load to run faster. Get them 3 times and you win. Lastly, there's Attraction Tour, basically a mini game rush where you got to play all the games with your friends. Whoever wins the most points wins the whole thing. So, did you guys have fun?
I like the White Castle part of the game.
I like the game and think it was a really good showcase on how the Wii U gamepad could be used in interesting gameplay scenarios, but the lack of accessibility makes it harder to grasp for anyone over the age of 30. I mean, the gamepad itself is confusing, and some of these games had a more confusing control scheme. While I think the game is good, it's not good enough to be sold on its own, but as a pack-in title, it's great.
Yeah, same. I mean, this was never going to beat Wii Sports because Wii Sports is just such a simple game that doesn't ask the player to know anything about 1, Nintendo, and 2, depressing B controller. While I like the Wii U, I feel like I couldn't play this with my mom or dad because there would be so much explaining that I would have to do, and that sucks because they did really try with this one. When playing with people, it's easy to switch who's on the gamepad, and there's a ton of explanation for each game, but nobody wants that explanation. They just want to pick it up and play. But as someone who knows how to handle a controller with more than 2 buttons, I love this game. I love it way more than Wii Sports, actually. While Wii Sports is more of a nostalgia thing for me, Nintendo Land is just really good and really fun. I want to play this more. I want to really have fun with it more, and when I got back to playing it, it felt great. There's more personality, more creativity. The art direction is so good. Every game is fun on its own, and if the Wii U was a success, I feel like this would have been a golden game from Nintendo, but instead, it's just forgotten.
Oh my god, it's like the White Castle of Nintendo games, that's why it's so good.
Get out of my house.
Oh, come on. Don't you want to play more pack-in titles from Nintendo consoles that came out after 2005?
What are you talking about? There are no more. You know you have to. Please, don't make me do this.
You will do it.
Wait just a second. Who are you people?
We're just random people trying to get free shit out of you.
All right, dumbass. He's not supposed to know that.
Get out of my house!